beautiful SeaWorld San Diego. This morning we have some very exciting opportunities for you to learn about our killer whales here. Now, this morning you're looking at our family of orcas. We have Kasaka, Nakai, Makani, Kalia, Amaya, and Shuka, who's vocalizing right now. She's super excited to share with you some fun things that we do here at SeaWorld. Now, I want to start things off by talking about an important topic for all of you to learn about. It's called disruptive coloration. So we'll get a little bit closer so you can get a really good look at how beautiful these animals are. Now, disruptive coloration has to do with the distinct differences between the black and white. So if you take a look at the killer whales, you'll see that beautiful white oval eye patch. And there's Shuka. And as you go down along their body, they have another white oval eye patch near the tail or the peduncle area, which is a large muscle which helps propel them. Now, this helps to break up the actual size and shape from the whale. So from prey, it's difficult for them to know which is the head and which is the tail. So it really helps them in their hunting strategies. Now, also is a term called counter shading. So if you look at the backs of the whales, you'll see it's completely black. And as Shuka rolls over, you can see her underside is white. Now this helps to counter shade them, so when prey are at the bottom and they look up towards the surface of the ocean, the ventral side of the body or the underside of the killer whale blends in with the surface of the ocean. And of course, if the killer whales are down deep and prey items take a look down below, their black on their back blends in with the bottom of the ocean. So two very interesting topics, disruptive coloration and counter shading, help these animals coordinate hunts out in the wild. Oh, Shuka. Good morning, Emily. Emily's down there interacting with Kalia. Tom is at the very end with Nakai. Right here is Shuka with Summer. And we are celebrating Shuka this week. So all of our fans and guests who come into the park, you have an opportunity to get a beautiful card about Shuka and learn more about her. Right here in front of us is Jen. She's interacting with Makani. And Katie. Katie, why aren't you with Makani? That's strange. All right, she's interacting with Kasaka. She's our matriarch. And we're going to get a little bit close because not only are the trainers interacting and playing with the whales, but we are involved in a very important research study. Now, we have a high school student who has learned how to extract DNA from a blowhole sample. So, very important research, and we are so impressed and honored to help this student to collect this information. So this is Autumn. She's interacting with our babies. There's Amaya. So let's get you a little bit closer and tell you more about this project. So right now, this is one of the many reasons it's so important that we have these strong relationships with our whales, is that we're able to collect a number of different samples, and our killer whales participate in us obtaining this information for researchers and scientists, but also for high school students who are looking to find out more information about animals and other topics in science. So what's happening right now is Mike is asking Makani for a blowhole sample. Get you a little bit closer so you can see the petri dish, or what we call a blow plate. Now he's newer at this behavior. There's a great breath. So you can see that Jen just did something called a tactile bridge that communicates to him that he's done the behavior correctly. Now, as I said, he's still learning this, so they're taking their time with him so he understands exactly what Jen is asking for. As he exhales into that blow plate, we're hoping to get some sort of fluid that the student can then extract and learn more about killer whale ecotypes. So if you're wondering, well, why would a high school student want blowhole samples from killer whales? Well, he's in the process of determining how to extract those DNA ladders and then be able to tell ecotypes of killer whales. This information can then be shared with researchers and scientists out in the wild. And then we have the capacity with drones now to get closer to animals and collect exhale samples from killer whales out in the wild. So we can learn more about the 10 different ecotypes and where these animals go, where they go for hunting, and understand more about how perhaps humans are affecting these wild populations. Maybe some ecotypes are traveling and leaving certain areas because of noise pollution. Maybe it has to do with overfishing or issues with toxins in fish. So this is really a critical study that we are participating in right now. So Makani is still working on this behavior. And that's okay, he didn't get that correctly, but that's all right, we're gonna move on. Now our other whales do know how to do this behavior, so we'll have them come over. So while we're waiting for that, we're gonna move into one of our favorite topics. Now, I wanna let you in on some information. Most people don't realize that the trainers here at SeaWorld have a number of different responsibilities. Not only are we responsible for the care and training and stimulation of these animals, but a number of trainers have different additional responsibilities. One of our trainers is involved in scuba certification, making sure we stay up to date. We have a number of different safety requirements. We have trainers that are really focused on socializations of the whale. And then of course, as I mentioned earlier, one of our favorites is our EEDs, which stands for Environmental Enrichment. And we have our coordinator here. This is Michelle Bridwell.
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
And she's gonna tell us more about our program. So Michelle, why don't you tell people what are EEDs and why are they important?
So EEDs is just a fancy term for toys. So, you know, here at San Diego, we want to make sure that all of our animals are having a great time all the time. And we're not going to be down to them all day, every day. So we want to make sure that they're always stimulated. So we do great training sessions, great just relationships, just spending time with them. But we also want to engage them in the play behavior. It's a natural behavior. We want all of our animals to just have a good time. So we've created a whole bunch of different environmental enrichment devices, which is just, again, a fancy word for toys. So killer whale toys are really hard. I have to say, as being the coordinator, and I think I just kind of fell into the job because I really like toys and just like playing with the whales. It wasn't actually ever assigned to me. But coming up with killer whale toys is really hard because they're big and powerful and they like to throw things around. So some of our heaviest toys are over 300 pounds. We have something that can go to the bottom of the pool that is 1,800 pounds of water weight. So it's just crazy. So we want to make sure that the whales are going to be safe for these toys, but the toys are going to hold up to their kind of play. It's really hard and really fun to try to get as creative as we can. So it's an ongoing process. We're never done. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas. So is the entire team. So we just want to make sure that they're always having fun and we always have new things available for them.
So let's take a look at a couple of examples. So can you explain what these are?
So just a couple of toys that we had built. We had this custom made, really thick for the killer whales. They make it for other parks and zoos. And then we just put a couple different jello molds on it. So we can make jello, we can sugar-free, flavorless jello, but then we can make it really thick so we can make suction cups to it. This is just a board. They actually broke it in half. It used to be much bigger, and now it's just a smaller thing. At one point we can weave kelp through it. That's why we have those handles there available. Now this one's really cool. We got two really big toys over here. We just got these toys. I'm so excited. So we're gonna drape kelp through this toy. It's really thick, really heavy too. And then we put some gelatin on it, and then we have this great big yellow ball. And we're actually a little scared to see what they're gonna do with it. So we're gonna stay out of their way when we put it in. Again, our whales like to toss things around. They like to jump on top of it. Everything here right now floats. So it's gonna be able to search the water, but sometimes they like to take these down underwater and then they shoot and they come flying back up. It's kind of fun to watch.
All right, so we're getting ready to show you these environmental enrichment or toys and watch our animals play with them. But before we do that, and as the trainers finish up their session with them, what exactly is the purpose? How do you go about trying to design or find the right toy for each individual animal?
Well, think about if you have animals at home and kind of what works for them. So I have a dog at home and he doesn't like certain toys. So it's trial and error. It's the same thing with us. And because we have 11 whales, they all have very different personalities. So they're all going to like different things. So our job as trainers is to come in each and every day and build and maintain that relationship and find things that they really enjoy and train them to enjoy different things. So a big part of our sessions these days is to incorporate toys so we can train play behaviors. Some of our older animals maybe don't play as much as the younger ones. So we want to encourage the play behavior. So as trainers, we can make it fun and reinforcing. If we're a part of it, if reinforcement's a part of it, then those toys are just going to become reinforcing in itself. So it's a lot of fun. But you know, the babies, they like pretty much everything as long as the trainers are hanging out with them as well. You know, the older animals take some more time. But in the last couple of years, I've seen all of the whales, including our two oldest ones, really engage and play on their own time. And that's what we want to see as trainers.
So we have a number of trainers within our park here, and they work with a variety of different species. So you all meet to discuss enrichment and kind of come up with ideas of how we stimulate the different species. So what exactly are you looking for as far as killer whales go, or cetaceans?
Ideally, we'd like to find more toys that would keep our animals underwater. So we've come up with a sensor system back in our dining area where the killer whales have learned to trigger it, and they can turn on a sprayer at the surface of the water, but they can also turn on a TV underwater. And it's a video camera where they're actually just looking at themselves. So it's just a gigantic electronic mirror for them. And it'll trigger it, they can go down and look at themselves, and then it'll go off after a couple of minutes, and then they can go back to the surface and trigger it again. Then we've created a couple more sinking toys. Some of them are really heavy and they just sink to the bottom of the pool, and some of them are just kind of gradually float down to the bottom. And again, we want our animals to spend more time underwater, play underwater, and it's just always trying to come up with new things. And again, it's really hard. If you guys have any good ideas out there, let us know. Just remember, it's got to be durable, killer whale proof. We have to be safe for the area, safe for trainers, safe for the killer whales. It's crazy.
All right, so we have a fan, Chris King, that wants to know, what is their favorite toy to play with?
Oh, well, that, again, it's going to be each animal specific. So Akaika and Keith, they really love these fire hose toys that we have. The little kids, they like the big balls where they can throw them up in the air. They like to toss them back and forth over the gate to each other. It's insane. They destroy everything along the way, but it's so much fun to watch.
All right, so it looks like we're getting ready to put some of our enrichment in. So this is also a part of their training. So you can see all the whales are with their trainers right now. And this is important. You can see this is a brand new toy that we're putting in. It has kelp, which happens to be one of their favorites. Let me get out of the way. So look at those animals. They're staying with their trainers, which is great training to show you how strong the relationship is with the trainers. So they're wanting to interact with the trainers over there, but our trainers have some really fun enrichment for them. So we're bringing in another enrichment device, a little bit different, and we give our animals Jello on occasion, but Katie, one of our trainers, designed this really fun toy which really creates a puzzle for them. So we have 3 different enrichment devices attached together with Jello, and then there's some Jello cups up top. And so it really helps the animals to figure out, how do I get these pieces apart? And I'll tell you, this is a brand new toy, and it is Makani and Amaya's favorite. So we'll see if they can get this toy apart. And we'll talk about how our animals, you want to know what they find enriching? All of that has to do with observation. So I'll let you see what animals pick. And here they come, so enjoy. And it looks like they're all investigating the new toy. And of course, there goes the kelp. I told you, they really find this kelp rewarding. And thank you to our fish department, who routinely goes out and gets us enrichment for our animals. We really appreciate it. So it looks like they all have the kelp. And it looks like Shuka's gonna investigate the new enrichment. There's Kalia. There's Nakai. Hi, Nakai. So as many of you heard earlier, you can see all of these toys are on the surface of the water. And as Michelle mentioned, one of our goals now is to develop enrichment that is underwater. So it just creates a different opportunity for our animals. And so if you want to see some examples of underwater enrichment, go ahead and throw out those wow emojis, and we will take you underwater to have you see some of the new enrichment that Michelle's created for underwater. Once again, if you're joining us, we're live at SeaWorld San Diego. It is a beautiful day today. It's about 72 degrees, and you are currently observing our family of orcas along with Shuka. Shuka's right in front of us. And as you can see, one of the enrichment devices or toys that our trainers have created, they've attached 3 devices together with Jello. And so this creates a puzzle. So this is mentally stimulating for our animals to figure out, how do I get these 3 pieces apart? Because what she probably wants is right there in the center. So again, we talked about enrichment devices underneath the water, and if you all would like to see it, let's see those wow emojis, and we'll take you down underwater. She's working on it. Again, we're live at SeaWorld San Diego, where our family of orcas and shuka are playing with a number of different toys. And this one that you're looking at right now is attached with Jello. And so it creates a puzzle for them to try and figure out how to get these three pieces apart. It looks like Katie did a really great job. And what's really interesting and a behavior I want to talk about is cooperative behavior. So you can see three of our killer whales, Nakai, Makani, and now Amaya. Sea fans, I told you, Amaya and Makani really enjoy that purple toy in between. So you can see they're over here working together to try and pull this apart. All right, well, it looks like we have a lot of wow emojis. So we are going to go ahead and stop. And we're going to get to our underwater viewing so you can take a look at some of the enrichment that Michelle has created to stimulate the animals underwater. So we will see you in a few minutes.